Consider the phrase home. Close your eyes and picture it. It's a 2-story building with a wraparound porch and a perfectly manicured lawn. Approaching the house is a smooth stone path that leads to a red door where a holiday wreath is hanging. When it comes to material standards, it passes the test. It's something we all desire, and strangely enough, the concept of home is a common ground for both the wealthy and middle class to agree upon. Merriam-Webster even defines the word home as one's place of residence. Is that really it? Has our idea of home become solely 4 walls and a nice garden? To me, home is so much more than that. Home isn't a place, it's a feeling, and this I believe. As my senior year comes to an end, I'm forced to reflect on the harsh reality of just how much my life has changed. Just a year ago, I rode in a van piled high with suitcases, rocking back and forth through the never-ending roads of the village. I traveled in a van to Johannesburg, South Africa, where I boarded a 17-hour flight into the Washington airport and barely made it to my final flight that carried me home to the Lone Star State. When I arrived, I was greeted with a loud welcome home and the all-too-familiar heat of the South. As my family ran towards me, I waddled under the weight of all my baggage. Although I had missed the people, the home-style cooked food, and my large comfy bed, my heart felt heavy entering this place I'd called home for so long. In fact, it didn't feel like home at all. I felt like a complete stranger to the place I'd called home for 17 years. Returning to a town that is immersed in technology and material possessions overwhelmed me, to say the least. Suddenly I realized I miss the simplicity of Africa. I miss being covered in dirt. I had this strange desire to zip myself up in a sleeping bag rather than covering myself with high-quality sheets. I missed playing soccer with a ball made of plastic bags. Some days were easier than others, and on some, I wept because I missed the sweet faces, the goodnight hugs, or the oh-so-beautiful worship. I missed sitting on a dirt floor, holding the hands of an African family, and if only for a moment, having the opportunity of sharing in their struggles. How do I put that into words? How do I explain to you how it feels to experience genuine hospitality, or how it feels to have children sing to you in another language? It was returning to America that helped me realize a large portion of my heart remains in the orphanages of Lusaka. It was spending 2 months in a foreign land that completely shattered my materialistic interpretation of home. In my eyes, home is not tangible. It's far too valuable to be detected by human touch. I'd like to take my assertion a step further and state that I believe it's not even visible. Home is where you find your greatest comfort and most sincere joy. Home, above all things, is a place that completes you. The concept of home is not one that can be attributed to merely a structure with 4 walls and a door. Home is a feeling. Home is the equivalent of your most treasured possession. It's valuable beyond measure due to the fact it holds a place in your heart that is irreplaceable. The task of finding my home is not one that I refer to as easy. In fact, it was quite difficult. It took being stripped of material possessions and all of the comforts I once knew to realize just how complete I felt in a place that was nowhere near the home I once knew. The red soil from my time there eventually wore off of my feet, but the feeling I felt in Zambia never left my heart. Being stripped of every comfort I attributed to the word home taught me that while a 2-story building with a wraparound porch and a nicely manicured lawn might be considered home to a majority of the world, it will never be home to me, for I believe home is something much more.